This one's on Pat Tate. There's it's part of the Essex Boys that we did earlier. I'm not sure if people remember. And somehow I done messed up my audio, but I need to get it back. Let me make sure I didn't hear nothing. Ah, there we go. Okay, audio's back. But Essex Boys, who was the other guy with the Essex Boys? Yeah, that was that White Wolf guy, I think. I can't think of his name right now, though. That's the thing with all these stories. Why's my hat tilted? Oh, because I'm trying to look at the camera, so if I go the opposite way. There we go. That's probably my problem. Going the wrong way. All right. Oh, okay. I'm seeing what I'm doing with good old Pat. All right, hold on a second. Let me switch these views. Yeah. I'm still getting used to these things. Yeah, there we go. But I'll show the screen. There we go. All right. Now, let me scoot up a little bit. All right. So Pat, so Pat, let's see. He was part of Essex Boys. We know that. Let me see who's part of the Essex. Oh, actually, hold on. Oh, the one I have right here. Okay. Associates, Tony Tucker, Craig Wolf. No, that's not Craig Wolf. No, I don't think Craig was one of the ones I was thinking of. No, I don't think so. Unless Craig is called somebody else. Only thing I can think of. But okay, so Pat, Essex Boys story. Let's say drug dealing, violence, murder. You know, our common themes. He says, let's see, continue to intrigue and fascinate decades after the case of the Renton murders, in which Tate's gang, the Essex Boys, was found blasted to death in a Range Rover. Jeez. But who was Tate, and how did he end up living a life of crime? Considered by one of his victims as a bully who deserved what he got, the fate of Pat Tate was oh my goodness, these words. Hooked on phonics, here we come. Inexorably linked to that of his fellow Essex Boys that would meet their demise on a freezing and desolate country lane. All right, you know what I need to start doing? We're going to start looking these words up, because I'm pretty sure everybody don't know what that means either. Inexorably, it means, it's an adverb, by the way, is in a way that is impossible to stop or prevent. Inexorably. The conflict was led inexorably to the outbreak of World War I. So it was impossible to stop. That's what I got from that. Okay. So basically, we couldn't stop this from happening. All right. I'm not watching any of these 45 minutes, because as soon as I watch it, I'm pretty sure the stream's going to die. So I'm not going to do that. But these other ones, let me see. Essex Boys, Voices of Pat Tate, Tony Tucker. I don't want to do voices. I want to just do like a quick, and 38 minutes, not quick. Pat Tony, Rise of the Foot. Oh, they did a movie on it? Okay, I'll watch that last, just in case. All right. But there was something I saw that was like a minute or two, maybe. And that wasn't that. Oh, here we go. This is not that long. This is 2 minutes. Oh, this looks like it's based on a movie, though.
Shut up, Mom.
Okay.
Tony brought his pal along. A dangerous little cunt called Craig Rolfe. And he was one of them geezers who always fucking opens his mouth at the wrong time.
Typical British accent as like a gang leader. Reminds me of the Boondocks, to be honest with you. I don't know. But I'm not getting any story.
Paddy, how's the boy?
He's okay. He's at a hospital. He's not.
Okay, hold on.
No, this could turn out to be very, very nasty.
Okay. This looks more of a movie, and that's not what I'm looking for. And I'm not looking. Okay, so anything with Rise of the Foot Soldier, I'm not looking for that. That's gonna make it tough. To raw footage, Pat Tate, Tony Tucker, and Craig. Warning. I don't like the warning part. So this part of a movie too. Let's see. So he's supposed to be portrayed as a bad guy.
Everyone in the underworld knew Pat Tate. He was a one-man army on his own. After he did the prison sentence, Pat Tate was for hire. He started.
So he's supposed to be. Stop that. So he's supposed to be a big guy. Okay, big shot. Okay, let's see. This actual footage on him. This is who he's. I guess this is him at a birthday party. This is who he really is. And probably really is because, let me see. Yeah, this footage looks like it's in the 80s for sure. When did he die? It's a birth. Okay, so he's born in 58. Are they gonna say death? Triple homicide. Yeah, we know that. Was murdered in 95. Let's see. Essex Boy murders, British. Man, this case is linked to somebody else that I can't. Oh, The Rise of the Foot Soldier, which keeps popping up on these mentions. It says, based on the true story of Carlton Leach, a former member of the Essex Boys gang, who later became a bouncer and a security consultant. However, the film takes a number of liberties with actual events and not strictly accurate depiction of the incident and murder. Many of the characters and events of the film are composites or exaggerations of real life people's situations. Makes sense. Filmmakers took creative licensing to dramatize the movie, glorifying the violence, portraying criminals in a sympathetic light. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because here it says Pat Tate's a real-life bodybuilding bully. And it looks just like how he does here. He looks like on this picture here. Yeah, it says 6'2", 18 stone. Let's see how much 18 stone is. Let's go 250. Let's go 8 pounds. Yep, 18 stone is 252. Okay. He was a robbery. But the other guy that I remember doing, he was supposed to be a bodybuilder too. I wish I could find this guy. I can't think of this guy's name. If I could, I don't. Craig, it's not Craig Wolf. It'd be messed up if it was Pat Tate and I'm over here trying to figure out the guy's name. But I'm pretty sure it's not. Craig Wolf, let me see. Is Craig Wolf suspected the first to die? No, he wasn't the first to die. Was Craig? Okay, the guy I'm talking about was supposed to be like an informant, and they thought he was an informant, so they what's it? Rolex Dave. There we go. Rolex Dave. I'm over here reading on the Rittenden murders. Yeah, Rolex. Okay, so David Rolex Dave King. Yeah, Rolex Dave was the other guy. I thought he was part of Essex gangs. Maybe he wasn't. Yeah, I thought he was part of Essex gangs too, but I guess not. All right. Sentenced to 7 years imprisonment. Tate spent his time inside bodybuilding, started taking drugs, violent disposition. We kind of knew this. Let's see. There's upon release on his parole, he survived an attempt on his life when a hitman threw a brick through his bathroom window, and shot him in the arm. Tate was rushed to the hospital. Staff found he had hidden a stash of drugs and a handgun under his pillow. Yeah, sounded like Tate was going back. His license was immediately revoked and he was sent back to prison. One man, Stephen Ellis, was questioned over the assault, but soon fled to West County under a new identity where he was wearing body armor out of fear of reprisal. Okay. Yeah, so Pat, big guy. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, not small at all. Oh, hold on. It says Pat accused of being a police informant. Hold on, let me see how long this video is. I'm sorry, Pat. This is a 38-minute video. You being accused for a police informant for 38 minutes is kind of crazy. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just bring True Crime Database down here. This is where I'm reading the stuff from, guys. Bring it down here. All right. Let me F11. Okay. Yeah, the only thing is I can't read it. Jeez. Okay. Pat, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what he looks like. That's what I say he kind of looked like. He was known as a violent bully. Boom, 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 boom. The man especially made pizza with 4 different toppings on each quarter. Dang, it says the manager was annoyed with him, so he hung up, and then Tate showed up. Then he picked up till he smashed it against the wall, punched store manager Roger, and then smashed his head in the glass plate of the sink of the bathroom. Dang, they refused to press charges, though. They said one of the associates of Tate said a room would darken when he entered. Oh, this is actually the one I wanted to watch. Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
Patrick Tate, a career criminal, worked his way up to armed robbery. He was doing a 7-year sentence for robbery when he started taking heroin.
Oh, okay, nice. You know.
The last year of that sentence was getting to him. He got
steroids
very
and
depressed.
heroin. You know, that's a great
Somebody
combination.
started giving him the heroin. And then when he was out the last time, he was doing something with a pipe. Was it called crack? He was doing that, and I said to him, you shouldn't do things like that, or you'll kill yourself. And he went, no. He said, I'm all right, I know what I'm doing.
When Tate got out of prison, he decided to go into the drugs trade. He was a bodybuilder who was known to be violent, and he'd made the right connections in prison. Tate worked with an Essex businessman who supplied bouncers to nightclubs. His name was Tony Tucker.
Tony Tucker was definitely a drug baron, definitely. I know he used to supply ease to all his bouncers and then take a percentage of their money. He was well known for that. Oh, he was a nasty person, and I suppose Pat, wanting to be a big I am as well, came out and they thought they were going to live the life of Riley, but...
yeah, I'm pretty sure it never goes the way that anybody expects. It probably goes good for a little while, though. And when I say a little while, maybe a year or two. But then you got people after
It's
you.
very difficult to put Tucker on a scale of where he was in the drugs world. It's safe to say, however, that he was probably middle management, if I can use that phrase, and making his way towards the top of the top of the tree to be a large-scale importer and distributor of drugs.
Well, they used to know when, you know, thousands of pounds worth of drugs were being handed over, or when the money was being handed over, and then whoever had the gun held them up. But yes, there was a couple of incidences, I know. But you're just playing with your life when you do that. And unfortunately, that is probably what.
If she knows of a couple incidents, that means there were a ton of them.
They were found in this Range Rover. 3 dead men. No one knew who they were, what they were doing, or why they fell victim to cold-blooded murder. It was the most unlikely place for such callous crime, an isolated farm track deep in the Essex countryside.
Patrick Tate, Tony Tucker, and another associate were shot through the head at close range. During the weeks before, they're thought to have carried out a series of hold-ups of drug dealers.
I think this case certainly is a gangland killing, an execution, if you like. And one can only surmise that perhaps the 3 of them had stolen some drugs, failed to pay a debt that they owed to this other person.
Man, they were part of the drug gang. Man, they were probably was in somebody else's territory they probably had no business being, and they made examples out of them.
Or indeed had probably, in Tate's instance, become too violent or too extreme that he was thought to be dangerous, and they just wanted to take him out of the situation.
Too big, too. He got too big-headed.
You couldn't tell Pat, he always knew. You know, that used to be the trademark, though, didn't it? The BMWs, the phone and the guns. Yeah, silly boy.
Dang. That's his mom, right?
Nice. That's very nice, is it?
Dang. Dang, that's crazy. And that's the actual video I was looking for that I saw earlier. All right. Let's see. We'll keep going. This is usually where I'm reading this stuff from. But the problem is I can't read from here. So we're going to have to switch this up. Sorry, guys. Well, we're not switching nothing up. I'm sorry. Because I can't see anything right now. Where is... hold on. Peoples. Can't figure out what I'm doing. All right, there we go. Something just happened, and I don't know what happened. It definitely scared me. Okay, so the Essex murders. Let's see. Like I said, it was in that Range Rover around 8:30. Superintendent Ivan Deebley received a call of a triple murder that had been committed. 40-strong squad descended on the crime scene that cold winter morning. It happened December 7th, by the way. Forgot that small detail. 1995. It says the driver's seat was 26-year-old Craig Wolf. The passenger was Tony Tucker. Then you have Pat Tate. It says Tucker, Tony, he suffered a catastrophic facial injury caused by a shotgun blast that almost completely obliterated his features. Then you have Craig, the driver, third member known, who had also been hit by a shotgun blast, leaving a large hole in the side of his face. Taken by surprise, he still had his foot on the gas pedal. And then you have Pat, who was in the back seat. His head smashed through the back window after he was shot once in the head and once in the stomach. It had all the hallmarks of a cold-blooded execution, and none of the victims had time to react. I bet not, if we shoot with shotguns. Jeez. He said this is not an ordinary murder. I bet not. That was execution. They was trying to let people know. Let's see, what else they said? It said Tate had been the prime target. Others were merely collateral damage. A post-mortem examination found Pat Tate had a combination of cocaine, heroin, and cannabis in his bloodstream, along with steroids. I knew it. Ain't no way he ain't had no steroids in there. Investigators began looking for potential leads that might explain why these 3 men, who were considered low-level criminals, were apparently lured to late-night rendezvous where they were ambushed and shot to death. I don't know if they were that low on the totem pole. Somebody said, Bernard O'Mahony said it was obvious to everyone who knew them what was going to happen. I was aware of it at the time and kept my distance. It wasn't hard. Several instances in the months and years leading up to the Renton murders were possible contributors to the death. Pat and the Essex boys were suspected in the death of 28-year-old Kevin Whitaker, who died from a overdose in November 1994. Whitaker was apparently murdered because of alleged drug debt, and Tate's mother said her son told her this when she visited him in the hospital after he was shot. Okay. Whitaker was found November 17th, 1994, 30 hours after he had gone missing. Body dumped roadside. Tate pretty much had what was coming to him. Marie Tate strongly believes her son was innocent party in the crime. Ain't nothing like a mother's love. And the Whitaker's friend had taken revenge by killing her son and criminal associates. However, detectives were certain it had no connection to their own murders at the Workhouse Lane. Then they had another death associated to the Essex boys. 18-year-old Leah Betts, teenager schoolgirl from Latchington, Essex, was admitted to the hospital November 11th after falling to a coma. Let me see how long this is. Ooh, that's 38. Yeah, so there seems like there's a good bit of reasons. Looks like Pat was on everything. And I'm pretty sure Pat probably had... Oh, here it goes. Okay, let's see. This one's interesting. Michael Steele was considered a sophisticated Essex drug smuggler. In 1995, November, he supplied a consignment of cannabis with a street value of £350,000 to Tate, Tucker, and Rolfe. This is considered the catalyst for the subsequent Renton murders. It turns out the quality of the drugs was so poor that Steele agreed to take back the cannabis and return the deposit of around £70,000. The money was paid, but Tate denied getting it and failed to return 1/3 of the drugs haul. Okay, there we go. Starting to put two and two together. When Steele protested, Tate threatened to shoot him after making him beg on his knees. Furious, Tate boasted that he would kill the smuggler in revenge for the incident. And Steele, who had developed a close relationship with Tate's ex-girlfriend, who told him of the threats and caused him to make the first move. Yeah, so Pat, Pat was in one of those, not a nice criminal, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, Pat was on too much stuff. All right, Pat was on way too much stuff. Oh, okay, they got the shooting scene. Let me see. I wonder if I could play. I probably could play a little bit of this. Hold on. I'm at the. Hey, look, we're at the end of the stream now. Pretty sure. I gotta just check my emails just to make sure. All right, Rise of Foot Soldier, Range Rover. Now, what I'll do, I'll just skip through a few things. Right. Let's see. It should pop up. The killings. Hold on, let me see. The one I'm looking for is a minute. All right, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Ooh, all right. Okay, I think we get the picture. We get the picture. If I didn't get the picture before, I got the picture now. Man, look at this here. They got a picture of the how the body looked. That's absolutely insane. But okay. Kind of get an idea of it. If you didn't know, now you do know. Jeez. Okay. All right, let's get back to Pat. Ugh, my goodness. Oh, okay. I done went to the Renton murders and I done went off of Pat Tate. But okay, that is Pat. Not one of the nicest guys we've talked about. But you know, most criminals aren't. So just gotta kind of not live with it, but just don't hang out with them.